Hello and welcome to a new edition of Simply Electric with the Tesla Model 3 Highland, which we have already shown you in a review, providing a detailed driving report and comprehensive analysis of its features and performance on the road. Today, we're heading onto the highway, specifically the A9. We want to determine the consumption at 100, 120, 140 and 160 km/h with you, and then drive to the Ionity fast charger behind us to see how quickly the Model 3 Highland charges as a standard range. From 10 to 80%. Before we start, could you please check if you're part of a specific electric community? If not, we would be happy if you supported us with a subscription, and then you won't miss any future videos. Now let's get started with the Tesla Model 3 Highland standard range on the highway. We have started with the Tesla Model 3 Highland and have now arrived on our highway with great anticipation of testing its performance and seeing how it handles different driving conditions, including sharp turns and long stretches of road, where we regularly conduct and carry out our fun and informative fuel consumption drives with you around beautiful Berlin. Yeah, currently it's around 15 degrees and raining. I just hope that it passes fairly quickly and we will get some much more pleasant and sunny weather pretty soon for sure, right? Yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
That would be nice. It's just this grey, you know.
We have the Tesla Model 3 Highland standard range with rear-wheel drive, where only the rear axle is powered and essentially the regular battery is used, offering a cost-effective option for environmentally conscious drivers. There's also the dual motor with the larger battery alternative, and then later in June, the Model 3 Performance is supposed to come to Germany as a sporty spearhead. What kind of tires do we have on Helgen exactly? Could you kindly let me know this exact piece information, please?
235s on 18-inch.
Very good. So we have no mixed tires in the front, back, or anywhere else? No. That essentially means the basic equipment with installed wheel covers, also hubcaps, so that the car actually has the best possible aerodynamic basis to achieve good performance and efficiency values, right? It just makes sense.
Absolutely, and we'll assume that too.
Absolutely. Set the interior temperature to 21 degrees as usual. Yeah, and otherwise, the ongoing construction on the A9 highway definitely needs to be completed. And then we can get started with our first value.
I'm excited.
What Tesla is very, very good at is software and having fast processors, which implement many critical systems like navigation and entertainment. What I noticed here with our subject, we have a trip, and I didn't want to withhold it from you, with 3,552 kilometers and 136 watt hours per kilometer. That's 13.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's a top value. Although there's probably a lot of city traffic involved, might be, our car already has 10,327 kilometers on the clock and is a Tesla test vehicle, right? Yes, which the friendly Tesla PR department kindly provided for our exciting video shoot today through a Tesla store. I really think it is absolutely amazing, fantastic and wonderful. And there you also have the opportunity. Tesla is now much more common here in Germany and has like 50 or 60 stores, making it a prominent choice among electric vehicle buyers. I don't really know exactly how many there are. Well, very, very well done with exhibition space, with workshop, and also the possibility to test drive all models there now as well, including the Tesla Model Y, with pure rear-wheel drive. So from that perspective, and I believe big battery, that's a new variant which also packs a bit more power. We've already planned to show you all these absolutely amazing things very soon, right here on our channel. So make sure you stay tuned and don't miss out on the excitement. This site seems to go on forever, Stefan, right?
Yeah, I think another 2 kilometers.
Oh dear, but then we really and truly start with our very first value. We want you drive 100 km/h continuously for 20 kilometers, so also generate an average speed of 100 km/h. It's always a bit different with us. And then let's take a look at what the Tesla Model 3 Highland standard range with rear-wheel drive consumes. The construction site is finally over and we can safely measure 100 km/h now. So I'll reset trip A by pressing delete here and then meticulously checking for the next 20 kilometers. Let us specifically see what the Model 3 consumes at an average speed of 100 kilometers per hour. The Tesla Model 3 Highland standard range, just to specifically add that point, has 208 kilovolts, 282 horsepower. Although Tesla, for some reason unknown, doesn't officially state those exact figures, which is quite interesting. In essence, we received them from our supplier EV database, known for its detailed data. 0 to 100 in 6.1 seconds with a top speed of 201 km/h. We'll be trying that out with you later on, and the vehicle is supposed to generate 420 Nm of torque. You can definitely feel it because here in the Tesla, I still find a very, very good Tesla punch. Yeah, we're near the value and the acceleration is smooth and quick, showcasing the impressive engineering behind this vehicle. That's precisely what I wanted to tell you in order to complete it fully. By the way, the standard range means 60 kilowatt hours gross battery capacity and 57.5 kilowatt hours net usable, which is quite sufficient for most daily needs. But even that, Tesla doesn't really officially state it, Stefan.
Yeah, it's kind of all with asterisks, so, well...
Who knows? So, we always use the values from EV database as a reliable basis for our subjects in this case to ensure high accuracy levels. Feel free to write in the comments. We have some Tesla sympathizers, fanboys, whatever you want to call them. If you have more comprehensive figures, we can certainly discuss them openly right here in the comments section. Here we go once again.
No.
We have a new consumption figure to share. We drove exactly 23 kilometers, constantly at 100 km/h, and used 138 watt-hours per kilometer, which equals 13.8 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers for this trip. And that is genuinely an absolutely top value. We truly need to commend the Model 3 for this, considering we have a 4.72-meter sedan here, which is really impressive. A decent performance with 282 horsepower, but also a really hefty fuel consumption, Stefan, right? Absolutely.
30.8 is very nice.
So, I'm particularly curious to see precisely how things are ultimately going to develop with the next speed DINs. We have set the autopilot to 120 km/h, and now we want to reset the onboard computer with you, ensuring all systems function properly. It's cleared and will drive 20 kilometers, maintaining 120 km/h. Curious about Tesla's energy consumption. This should give insights into how the vehicle manages energy over steady speed, essential for understanding its performance. Yes, what has developed greatly at Tesla, I think, is the traffic sign recognition, and what also works very, very well is the lane change assistant. In the base Model 3 Highland, you always have the adaptive cruise control, the lane keeping assistant, and as far as I know, also the steering assistant. And then you have the option to add the new enhanced autopilot feature for better convenience. Then you have the opportunity to make beneficial use of the lane change assistant. You've summoned something strange that I genuinely believe doesn't seem to work so well specifically here in Germany just yet. That's how it was with my Tesla Model S performance. I also booked the enhanced autopilot package, which included useful features that enhanced my driving experience. I think it was 3,800 euros. Yeah, and what you also have is the function that allows you to move it forwards, backwards out of a parking space or garage. Yes, then on top of that is the full self-driving pilot. I think it's approximately about 7,000 euros, 7,500 euros. It's quite a significant amount, really, where you will get enhanced traffic light control, multiple roundabouts, and eventually full self-driving capabilities that aim to revolutionize transportation. So really full autonomous driving, which is apparently doing very, very well in America, but where Tesla here with us, unfortunately still a bit struggling. Yes, they're struggling with a pretty simple story. You see this right here? It's specifically called a windshield wiper. It means we always switch back and forth between auto and manual mode continuously. And somehow it just can't ever seem to manage to be consistently good. Well, no matter what it tries. Handling the windshield wiper, if you ask me, it really does feel honestly quite a bit like something of a shame, Stefan, because a wiper automation, it feels like it's been around for 20 years.
Yes, and I mean, particularly since you don't have a lever to quickly and efficiently correct it. No, you somehow always have to walk across the display. I don't know, it's somehow not that great.
Yes, and what is also really annoying, I have to add, is when you use the autopilot like this, it keeps the lane well. You also see what's happening left and right. That's really great. But as soon as you do something that the autopilot doesn't like, it immediately kicks out of the system. And then there's ringing and banging, then you have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I just have to say, well, that's just a bit too much for me to handle right now. For such a software giant, they should be leading the way, right?
Actually, yes, they do want to be pioneers.
So if I take the travel assists from the Volkswagen Group, BMW and Audi, or more specifically Mercedes like we had in my EQS, I feel like Mercedes is somehow a little bit ahead in terms of innovation and overall technology, at least from the user's experience during testing periods, right?
Definitely, yes. Look, if it's not raining and the wiper's on, what do we say about that?
Well, that was mentioned earlier. It's just a bit different with Tesla.
Yeah, and don't anyone start with splashing water on me now.
Well, 3 drops are in now. Yes, yes.
Okay, ja, gut. Oh,
It's just very sensitive. Sometimes it just doesn't wipe. Then the windshield is soaking wet. I don't know. I'm not really able to peek into the sound mixer mode there. I think the wiper still doesn't like you.
I'm not entirely sure. Is he perhaps doing it on purpose?
For that, we have another good result. We drove 21 kilometers here with the Model 3 Highland standard range and had a consumption of 158 watt-hours per kilometer, which corresponds to 15.8 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers. I think that's an average of 120 km/h driven. By the way, GPS measured it at 118 km/h. For all those who always say, don't go by the speedometer values, check it with GPS, we do. Always, if there are any discrepancies, we will definitely let you know. At 17 degrees and for the wiper automatic, yes, with rain, yes.
I think it's definitely because of the wipers. Yeah, but I think we'll now have approximately 0.2 kilowatt hours less without the wipers, I believe.
So you think we should talk it out, but look, there's this indicator in the energy menu here, where you can see exactly how much is spent on driving, climate, battery conditioning, elevation difference, usage and performance, providing detailed insights. So therefore, it was all downhill anyway. So in consumption, in altitude, and in every single aspect, everything was heading downhill. Yeah.
Good values nonetheless.
We've set the autopilot to 140 km/h. Do you notice this dinging and donging sound in the background that's getting a little annoying? It's actually extremely exhausting. The moment you make even the slightest wrong turn, it immediately goes completely off track. Because we want to reset the trip computer with you to see the consumption over the next 20 kilometers while maintaining an average speed of 140 km/h so that we can accurately measure the fuel efficiency during this specific segment. Lane change interrupted. Let's see if it can actually do it now at 140. We need this to be done accurately. Yep, he does. The lane change assistant is still the most reliable one here, right? Could that be?
Yes, that still works.
By the way, the blind spot monitor system is now a red LED up there in the box. They really saved on that.
Right, yeah, like quite a bit. It honestly feels very much like it.
We now have a new consumption value, which is we were driving constantly at an impressive 140 km/h for a total distance of 20 kilometers. You have to switch to 21 right away and have a consumption of 184 watt-hours per kilometer, which corresponds to 18.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's actually a very, very good value for 140 km/h.
That's truly an exceptionally top-notch value indeed. He's doing well.
Chapeau Tesla. By the way, the autopilot with the steering assistant only goes up to a maximum of 140 km/h. What do I do now?
Now we'll drive manually.
But we still have to shoot 160 more.
Sure, show me exactly how gentle your gas truly is.
We could check if the adaptive cruise control works up to 160, right? Yeah.
Who?
Viewers. We have manually accelerated to 160 km/h and now want to reset the onboard computer with you to drive 20 kilometers at 160 km/h in order to measure several performance metrics, including overall fuel efficiency and engine performance. Why manually? Because the adaptive cruise control in the Tesla unfortunately only goes up to 150 km/h. Unfortunately, because I think you should have a distance regulating cruise control somehow within a speed range. You like driving regularly. We like driving at 100, 110 miles per hour, right? Yes.
That's actually quite a good and steady traveling pace for us.
Yes, especially when you look out at the traffic here. Stefan, take a look. It works wonderfully here at 160. I mean, it's not a traffic obstacle. And yeah, you can ride comfortably in the fast lane, effortlessly and seamlessly going with the flow. And especially when you have such a high-performance car like perhaps a Tesla, it really makes sense and is an enjoyable experience that truly stands out from the rest. To use the 208 kilometers on the highway sometimes, right? We want to use the time until we reach the value for 160 km/h by talking with you about travel comfort. What's your inner and genuine feeling, Stefan?
First of all, I must say, I adore the seats. Great side support here too, making it very comfortable. I might have desired to have just a bit more of the thigh, but really nice and soft. I believe you can take a very long drive here without getting any aches or pains.
Certainly. Seats, it seems like Tesla has made another significant leap again, I think. So, in addition to the seat heating that was always available on all 5 seats, we now also have seat ventilation here on the driver and passenger sides, ensuring greater comfort and luxury for every ride, regardless of the season. Personally, I always find that very pleasant in the summer. especially when you're a bit overheated, getting into a maybe somewhat cooled down car. It's still nice to have a bit of ventilation through the seat. But I think the highlights lie actually in the chassis, because the Tesla Model 3 Highland is significantly more comfortably tuned for a smoother ride experience on various road conditions. With the old Model 3, you've probably seen it on our channel, when we tested a used one, it already had that go-kart feeling, where you were always bouncing and every bump in the road took every turn on the winding highway, and now I think he's become such an incredibly elegant glider. Yes, he has indeed.
Absolutely. You can certainly see the difference, especially when we directly compared the Model 3 that we drove. It was noticeably harder at some ends and edges, making the drive feel distinct. You could feel every single bump in the road somehow. And he really does it very well here.
Which doesn't mean he's no longer sporty. He's sporty. He also has his sporty genes, a nice direct steering. He doesn't sway too much either, even though he's tuned a bit more comfortably. So I believe they genuinely put a substantial amount of effort into the damping system and have strategically taken it to an entirely new, impressive level. And yeah, all those suspension critics who always used to bash the Model 3, they're basically, as we see it now, totally and completely silenced. Silenced, which really goes to show just how far the advancements have come.
Absolutely.
Beautiful bridge, growing so beautifully.
Honestly, right.
Yes, we have the next consumption value, and indeed we were driving at 160 kilometers h for 20 kilometers, which resulted in the consumption increasing to 228 doboids per kilometer, reflecting the significant impact of maintaining such high speeds on energy use. That means 22.8 kWh per 100 kilometers. So honestly, I think that is undoubtedly one of the lowest 160 kilometer h values that I can remember, right? Oh yes, it's really impressive.
Not much rivals that.
And whether that's really the case. Feel free to share your opinion in the comments, but what definitely doesn't lie are our tables with the comparative values to the other subjects. I'm really excited about that. How Tesla's Model 3 Island Standard range will likely perform over various terrains. Where I still find Tesla's strengths are on the country road, especially right around here, right? Yes. When you swiftly glide around the curves, especially with the rear-wheel drive, that's really fun, isn't it? Yes?
Performs well, keeps it tidy.
Well, you can also quickly and efficiently take a highway entrance, improving your trip. We'll just stay on, drive through here at a nice 70-80 kilometers per hour. As I said, we have to treat our subjects with enough care and attention. The only thing I can't get used to, Stefan, is this indicator rule.
Yeah,
well, I can wholeheartedly assure you that's still somehow, despite everything, not quite exactly my thing. Well, anyway, you just have to get used to it. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. I'm now driving at 140 km/h here on autopilot. I have the steering assistant on. All the full safe driving systems that our car has are activated because 120 km/h is coming up. We want to see if he recognizes the sign, yes or no, and if he reduces the speed manually. That means he noticed 120, but despite that, he's even still blasting through at 140, isn't he?
Yes, now it pulls in nicely. So brake manually again.
Yeah, I'm truly really very sorry for that. It's kind of like magic, and a little bit like witchcraft, isn't it?
Well, not really.
So we want to test the performance a bit, driving at 120 km/h, do the kickdown, and it takes off nicely 140, 160. And it then climbs up to 180. We're in the standard range of speeds. And it smoothly accelerates nicely up to 200 km/h, maintaining a stable pace. The 201 goes according to factory specifications, a bit over with 203 km/h. And that's enjoyable, Stefan, isn't it?
Yes, even with an electric car, you can sometimes drive 200. That's nice.
And what I find super cool, I have our charging station, the Ionity in Linte, that's exit bridge on the A9. Just input it as a destination, and it instantly began preconditioning the battery, which I find amazing because it's crucial to demonstrate during the charging check, of course, maybe, especially for your electric vehicle's efficiency and battery health. What kind of remarkable charging speed performance is possible even in the standard range with its LFP batteries offering notably efficient charging? I'm extremely curious to see how much time the Tesla takes to charge from 10 to 80%. What I find brilliant about the Tesla is its navigation system. which works almost as well as Google Maps, like when you use Google Maps on your phone, for example. And what Tesla also does exceptionally well is to comprehensively plan all your charging for you. For that, they naturally make use of the supercharger network, and as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, you only resort to alternative charging stations if no supercharger is within range at this moment. I don't think it could do that before. There were some problems, but it's not a big deal. Never mind, let's move on. What I would wish for, though, is a feature, I don't know if you Tesla drivers find it interesting too, where you could decide for yourself, do I want to charge in the Tesla supercharger network, which, well, is generally also very interesting price-wise, as they are, to be honest, presently very competitive in pricing, having some of the best rates. Or would you rather prefer to charge with your preferred partner who you know and trust more, be it Bionity, NWW, ARL, PALS, or Volkswagen? This setting function would be highly desirable, as I might not always want to charge at the Tesla supercharger network. Having more options would provide greater flexibility and convenience. What do you think? Feel free to write that in the comments. Should Tesla make it a bit more flexible, or do you think if they have such a well-developed network, they should actually use it? What do you think, Stefan?
Yeah, right, huh?
We've now finally arrived at the Ionity station situated here in Linter Exit Bridge on the A9, and of course we want to thoroughly do the entire charging check together with you all. How much time does the Tesla Model 3 Highland truly need to span from 10 to 80%? And have we already reached 10%, Stefan? We've definitely reached it, right?
Exceptionally good today, very well.
10% is what the gauge shows too. We're good to go. The battery's preconditioning is sufficient. And he's slowly but surely building up a bit of a charging peak here. According to the EV database, it's listed at 170 kilowatt peak. Of course, we hope to exceed that, Stefan, right? Yes?
Sure, gladly.
Because we have indeed a few. Model 3 has, I believe, already been seen with 250 kilowatt, yes.
Not for long, but eventually they showed everyone.
Well, we were obviously really surprised. With the standard range, I believe it can only do 170 kilowatt. We're already up to 172 kilowatt. That's really quite great. On average, it should charge at around 100 kilowatts and then up to 80. That would be a decent value. Yeah.
Take it.
The charging break is also the perfect opportunity to show you the Tesla Model 3 Highland here as the standard range with rear-wheel drive from the outside. Especially with the Highland, they have taken the time to beautifully redesign the front section, putting a great deal of emphasis and care into it to make it stand out remarkably well. Again, the aerodynamics to improve, especially here in the climb with the hood, and also the airflow around the car. Yes, the highlight here is also the daytime running lights with the new headlights. Tesla has, so to speak, upgraded over the air from LED headlights with high and low beam function to a matrix function, which we unfortunately cannot test right now because it's too bright, but we hope to evaluate it under better conditions very soon to provide a comprehensive review. Yeah, I actually find the hubcaps very, very chic. Behind them are alloy wheels. Many Tesla drivers also remove the hubcaps because they don't like the look of them. That's exactly where you are needed the very most, how you like it the absolute very most, and how you'd optimally prefer to use it effectively. Yeah, what I find really quite a bit ugly, Stefan, is actually this mudguard here, right?
Yes. It feels out of place here, really.
You can probably remove it somehow, because otherwise, as I think, you have a very, very nice, performant body. You have a purely electric vehicle platform that has been meticulously and thoroughly tested and validated over the past several years. And so, the Tesla Model 3, following the Tesla Model Y, has become one of the best-selling electric vehicles here in Europe, particularly in Germany, known for its substantial and growing market for electric cars. Yes, a new highlight I think is also the rear view. Here you have these old, I always lovingly call them, Daihatsu taillights. Nothing against Daihatsu, they were always stylish too. Now, a bit visually optimized, maybe we could have done a bit more, right?
Yes.
But at the very least here, spelled out Tesla, I really, really do like it a lot more. What I find really, really awesome is the new diffuser. You must get low for it, Stefan. It's also super, super awesome as it contributes sensationally to the new aerodynamics, enhancing overall performance and stability on the road. Yes, otherwise I believe the Model 3 with its starting price just under 41,000 euros. Still, ambitious on the price entry. I believe you can get the Model Y a bit cheaper right now. This is exactly why many potential buyers might ultimately opt for the SUV variant of the popular Tesla Model Y. I have to say my funometer and all that was really enjoyable.
He's quite fun, the little one.
I can definitely recommend it to you. You should take it for a test drive and form your own impression. A look at the charging station reveals that we have charged 13 kilowatt hours in 5 minutes, now up from 10 to 31%, but it's only charging at a modest 142, 143 kilowatt hour now. Others might do that a bit faster. You surely all saw our Porsche Taycan video where several people wrote their thoughts in the comments. Well, my Model 3 or my Tesla can do that just as well as any other high-tech vehicle.
Yes, briefly.
50% after 11 minutes, we've now already added 25 kilowatt hours. He continues charging at 108 kilowatts. That's decent. This suggests that we might get a pretty good result, Stefan, right? Yes. Speaking of excellent value, we've now already charged over 34,000 long kilometers for free. We did it using N-Charge. There's an app for it, collecting free miles through purchases and rating stations. The app also offers mileage tracking, detailed analytics, and special discounts, enhancing the overall experience. And these complimentary kilometers can then be loaded back into your vehicle for free using the charging card. If you're genuinely interested in that, please feel free to check out the detailed video description. 70% after approximately 20 minutes, 37 kilowatt fully recharged, and it's still charging at 66 kilowatts. That's not really what you would call high performance, is it, right?
Well, I was actually hoping for a bit more than that.
That's why I'm still surprised by these Tesla fanboy comments on a Taycan video, because just for comparison, the Model 3 has 57.5 kilowatt hours net. And the Taycan 97 kilowatt hours net, and the Taycan Charge 1080 in 18 minutes, and it has already been 20 minutes and we are at 71%. So what is it exactly that they can both do the same now? And I never saw the Taycan charging at 64, 65 kilowatts.
That's kind of weird.
How do you come up with such comments?
Well, write it in the comments.
80% after 26 minutes. We've added 43.3 kilowatt hours and it's charging under 50 kilowatts. What does that mean?
Understood.
Yes, but I have to say 26 minutes is a very solid time indeed. This is also heading in the right direction. While it's not quite there yet where some 800 volt systems can charge, let's take the Kia EV6, the Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 6 as examples. That can easily and ideally charge significantly larger 77 kilowatt of batteries from 10 to 80% in just a mere 18 minutes, or even faster in some cases. So maybe Tesla could really step up a bit more actively there too. Let's get to the conclusion with the Tesla Model 3 Highland. Here is the standard range, basically the price entry at just under 41,000 euros at the moment. And I have to say, overall picture really great. You surely have seen the review and the test drive too, where we presented the car to you in detail with all the data and facts. And also today the consumption values, they are top-notch. Sugar, so hats off, thumbs up for Tesla. Also, the charging performance is truly state-of-the-art for any 400 volt system, meaning it is up to date at 26 minutes, even though some might be just slightly faster in comparison. So you could basically say that the Tesla Model 3, now as the Highland, is really the best in terms of price performance, if not one of the best electric cars on the market, right? That's a bit considered. Look at how nicely he's taking the bumps now. With the other one will be rolled over here. And you can see Tesla is evolving and solidifying its reputation as a renowned brand. They are very, very good with software. And if they can just tweak the autopilot a bit to meet our European standards, I would say, or at least what I was used to from my Mercedes EQS, then it's actually the perfect electric car, right? Regarding this particular vehicle and price class, yes.
There's hardly any competition.
So you absolutely should really take a test drive in a Tesla and form your own opinion about it. And with that, we've reached the end of today's video. We hope you enjoyed the consumption run with the Tesla Model 3 Highland in the charging check. Please give it a thumbs up and also make sure to check if you are already part of an established electric vehicle community. If not, we'd be grateful for your subscription. And then you won't miss any future videos. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay healthy and see you very soon. Yours, Ollie. Hey, Stefan. What I find truly classy about Tesla is that they just know how to innovate perfectly. Getting this Matrix capability upgraded over the air for free, that's really awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, you see what's possible nowadays. You don't have to go to the workshop and modify it. No, they just do it with a click.
But which other manufacturer offers something like this? I have to say, this is really top-notch.